That's right, that riff is from Chevelle's new album, NIRATIAS. This is Barrett's Music, and today we're gonna talk about that new album. I love Chevelle, and this new album came out of nowhere for me. I had not listened to them since Vera Sierra, or however you pronounce that album. I loved Wondered What's Next and This Type of Thinking Could Do Us In. I love those three albums, and I haven't really loved the Chevelle album since. I like some of the other ones they've done, Sci-Fi Crimes and Lod, Gaga. They got some weird titles, okay? But man, this album came out of nowhere, and I bought it yesterday because I was doing that thing where you listen to some tracks on YouTube, and I listened to so many of them that I realized I liked the album a lot. So I went ahead and bought it to support them. NIRATIAS, I think I'm saying that correctly. I tried to watch a video and learn how to pronounce it. That's literally something that Chevelle came up with. It's an acronym that means nothing is real and this is a simulation. So it's kind of funny. It's kind of a concept album about space and time and simulation. Just the album artwork itself kind of says it all. It starts out with a instrumental track that's a German word. I'm not gonna try to pronounce it. The instrumental track is cool, not my favorite, not the worst song in the world. It's cool. It kind of goes back to old school Chevelle. I'm a guy where I even had their first album before they even got popular, Point One or something like that. That was literally just full of a bunch of instrumentals, almost like a demo that they put out. And that kind of brought me back to that point, very beginning, first Chevelle kind of album, kind of stuff. The second track, So Long Mother Earth, dude, this track is pretty sick. This track is pretty sick. Not one song on here besides maybe Self-Destructor is kind of like, I have to listen to it so many times, like over and over again. Like, this is a great album, you know, like listen top to bottom kind of thing. Especially the top and the middle of the album. Would I really listen to some of these songs outside of listening to an entire album? Maybe. So Long Mother Earth is one of those where I would listen to it, you know, outside of the album anytime, because it's got this really great melodic chorus. And this album, it was very melodic compared to some of the ones they've done between Vera Sierra and Vina Sierra and NIRATIAS, the one that they have now. They were less melodic. They were more just like chaotic, honestly. And I couldn't get into the more chaotic stuff. I like a really nice riff over a nice melodic vocal, which is what Chevelle's really good at, besides being really groovy at the same time. Then you have Mars Simula. This is a cool track. The main thing that's cool about this track is the riff. The riff carries this track, straight up. That guitar riff carries the track. There's just no other way to put it. It just does. Track 4, Sleep in the Deep, you know, it was a little interlude thing. But then you get into Self-Destructor, dude, that was such a good single, man. I love this track, man. That riff, you know. That was a nice riff. Pistol Start was really interesting because it had that cool riff, but the drummer played cats, which is like a poppy dance kind of beat. And you'll hear bands doing that kind of stuff, like Korn did it before and System's done it before, where they put pop grooves in a more metal context. I don't think it worked that well in this case. I love Chevelle's drummer. I have for a long time. I study his drumming. I don't think that was the best choice. Do I know if there's a better choice here? Not really. I don't. This is another song where that riff carries the song, basically. But you know, it's a really creative track. It's probably the most creative track in the whole thing, musically speaking. It's very different for Chevelle. Dude, Peach is so groovy, man. Peach is so groovy. That riff, oh my gosh. And those drums, it's very straight on. The thing I think is interesting about Peach is that when I first heard it, I thought Jonathan Davis from Korn, I thought he was in it. I thought he was, you know, doing those kind of more creepy sounding vocals, because it sounds just like what he does in Korn. But I guess it's just Pete kind of copying that style and doing his own thing with it. But I could have swore I heard Jonathan Davis on that track, man. But dude, that track is just, it kind of goes all over the place, but I love the groovy sections. Oh my gosh, it's a pretty heavy track for this album, because this album isn't too heavy. It's just more spacey, which I like that about this album. Test Enough is another one of those little weird interlude things, you know, delay on the guitar and just kind of chilling out. Very meditative, spacey. This album's just very spacey, man. Then you get Endlessly, track 10. I didn't love the drumming part for 10. you know, as a drummer, I hear these kinds of things. But when I first listened to Endlessly, I didn't really get it. When you listen to the track in the context of where the album is at that point in time, you know, it's towards the end of the album, it makes a lot of sense. It's kind of, it's way melodic. It's really melodic. It sounds cool. I think it would have actually been better without some of the drum parts that he did. Like some of that bell work. It was just kind of like, okay, dude, that's a little weird. But you know, I thought the track was cool. It works really well within the context of the album. Remember When is really interesting because it's just kind of it flows, you know, it's just one of those, it just kind of, the track just kind of flows. It's kind of relaxing. It's very melodic, man. Half of these, that's one thing I love about this album is it's a very melodic album. The heavy, cool guitar riffs with the melodic kind of backing. I didn't love Ghost and Razor track 12. There's nothing, it just didn't do anything for me. And then Lost in the Digital Woods, you know, I respect the art, the whole spoken word thing over some piano and guitar or whatever. You know, do I think that was a strong end for an album? No, I don't think that was a strong end for the album. I love the album as a whole though, man. So some tracks to really listen to if you're not gonna listen to the whole thing. So Long Mother Earth, that's a great track, man. Mars, Simula, I like that track. I think it's a little silly how he goes, on the way to Mars, or whatever, going to Mars. That's it kind of sounds a little cheesy, it's kind of silly. That's like the whole chorus. I'm on the way to Mars, or whatever. But the riff is cool, you know, it's a cool track. Self-Destructor is easily, you know, one of the best tracks besides Peach. Peach is a great track. Pistol Star, the riff carries it for sure, but it's a good song. It's a good time. Endlessly is chill, you know. Remember When is nice and chill too. We're winding down, very melodic, and those are the kind of the main tunes for me. And to have that many standout tunes on an album for a Chevelle album for me, it hasn't happened in a while. It just hasn't. So I really like this album. It's a good time. And if you hadn't checked it out yet, there'll be a link in the description if you want to check it out. And that's all I got, man. It's a cool album. It's good it's kind of meditative, kind of spacey, very melodic. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.